Well, that was a lot. Where the hell does Blue Archive go after exploring themes of child abuse, redemption, forgiveness, love, and friendship, as well as the rest of the main themes of the game? After putting our beloved characters through the ringer in like coal under pressure, coming out like a diamond. Well, there are some students protesting in a park. And the cops are having trouble breaking them up. That's always relevant. You see, SRT Academy was once the most prestigious academy in Kivodos that trained exclusively for spec ops tactics. Has recently closed for unknown reasons. In this chapter, we get to learn a lot more about how does Kivodos actually work, how schools act more like college campuses or countries than anything else, with the school being in charge of the surrounding area and students living on the property. So because of that, students get really patriotic for the school they're born in, applied to. That part's not really clear, but who cares? The important thing to note that while SRT may have closed, the students all actually had a place for them in the local police school, Valkyrie. But there's a problem. Well, here's where that problem of school nationalism takes place. You see, the youngest group of first years, or the Rabbit Squad, would rather die than join the stinky, dumb, normal police force. Meet the local rabbits. Mo, the helicopter demolition specialist, and also a fucking bitch who gets really horny for blowing things up. She's constantly butting heads and being really antagonistic to the rest of the squad. Miyu, trash girl who gets forgotten a lot and has some self-esteem issues. Saki, also kind of a bitch and really likes helicopters and is very much so prideful and by the books. She also butts head a lot with the de facto leader, Miyako, another kind of a bitch who's doing her best to keep everything together. The rabbits might actually be the most realistic teenagers ever written, because they're all catty and have a fucking attitude. After several chapters and hours of anime slice of life cutesy fun shit, we're given the task of dealing with students who actually just fucking hate us. To be fair, we did help the police break up their protest. Now homeless, alone, and out of ammo, food, and even proper hygiene or fend for themselves in a long stay camping trip. We help out a bit from time to time on the food and hygiene part of things. They are still students after all, even if they hate us. But one thing's for sure, these girls are really good at small squad tactics. While other groups may use things like the power of friendship, or tanks, or a big fucking missile, or an overpowered protagonist, or fucking magic, rabbits just need some planning, a helicopter, and good leadership. And they could probably take on the rest of those groups, except maybe Hina on her own, or Mika, or Hoshino when she's not asleep. Or squad, or wait. Now would probably be a good time to talk about gameplay. After however many hours this has been, I think it's been 2. Guns are cool, there's no doubt about that. And while many other games outside of the Call of Duty slot prefer things like swords and magic and much more fantastical approaches to combat, if it isn't swords and sorcery, it's sci-fi and ridiculous. With the small arms side of combat being relegated to PvP slop or unbelievably niche military sims you and I have never even heard of. But people like guns. The man yearns to die in a field in Europe. And while World War II shooters come and go, modern military sidearms are relegated to those 2 examples I just brought up. But that's where Blue Archive, of all things, comes in. Anime Girls with Guns has been a very popular trope on the internet for probably as long as the internet has been a thing. Yojo Senki is popular almost solely on that basis alone. With Blue Archive being nothing more than the creators throwing everything they like into a video game and saying, basically, you either like this, or this game wasn't made for you. The fact that every girl in this game has a firearm starts making a lot more sense, with each gun in the game having a clear base in reality. Except for Hina's magic MG42, but that's also kind of the point, you know? Each character having their own unique gun with some modifications made to it to further tell you about their personality. And a lot of the game's fights are like this. While yes, sometimes you fight a massive mecha snake with a really good song. And amusement park mascots, at least in the story, it's small squads being forced to use somewhat grounded tactics and modern day equipment like helicopters and mortar teams and the occasional armored car. I have played way too much Hoi 4, and I only write D&D campaigns or RPG Maker games or any other stories in the context of medieval fantasy shit. I have never cared for modern day shit. Desert Storm, lame. Invasion of Iraq, more like Invasion of my snooze festival. All of my friends are in the military. I'm probably gonna get my fucking ass kicked for this. But unironically, hear me, as stupid and fucking weeaboo cringe as it sounds, reading the Blue Archive battles kinda got me really interested and invested. It's hard to explain other than that Blue Archive makes Black Ops storming inside of a building with a small group of highly trained professionals under the cover of night with only a few hours to get in and get the job done and get out way fucking cooler than World War II running across France and shooting Nazis for the billionth time. Wait, I thought I was talking about gameplay. I thought this was a video game. Well, the actual gameplay of Blue Archive is, fucking nothing. The little chibis run around and you press an EX button sometimes. What's cool is the previous context I was talking about earlier and the spectacle during the fights. When Blue Archive fights are at its best, it's your elite squad sieging a building with an armored police car and helicopter support in intense urban warfare. Or shooting at a massive chicken on top of a ruined skyscrapers with helicopters coming in and shooting and go pew pew pew. This game is fucking weird. Oh right, there was a story in this part. The rabbits are struggling, fighting black market Kaiser operations just to steal some drum barrels to bathe in, fighting an anarchist communist robot hobos over expired bento, fighting us every time we try to help, and with the very real threat of the police storming in and breaking up their meager camp at any moment. They're all a little tense and kinda at each other's throats all at the same time. The only saving grace is that the police are kind of incompetent and also broke, just like real life. Eventually it starts to rain. Apparently Kavotos has rainy and dry seasons, and that rainy season has begun, which is pretty fine. Rain is neat. You get to hole up inside and have a nice cup of coffee or go out on a brooding, moody walk. Like yeah, it can interrupt your plans for the day, but rain is a useful and natural part of life. In the 21st century, it isn't that big of a deal. You're still expected to go to work after all. So I'm sure most of the schools don't really care or even pay mind to the... Oh, we have a bunch of homeless kids living in a park. Fuck. Talking from personal experience, setting up camp or camping in the rain kinda fucking sucks. A lesson the prideful Rabbit Squad learns first-handedly as their main command tent and everything else collapses. And their camp gets flooded. All of their ammo is underwater. All of their radios destroyed. Everything is ruined from just a little rain. Miyako, the most dedicated to this whole "we're better than the police and everyone else because we're SRT" crusade, tries to bring up the morale, saying everything is fixable, but all the tension finally boils over and a fight breaks out. Everyone's done. They were once an elite school debating justice and tactics. Now, they're just a bunch of homeless kids fighting for scraps. They want to go home. So, now, alone, Miyako tries her best to dig everything up and make a spillway, but that's more or less impossible by herself. So we, wordless, do what we do best. The right thing. Grab a shovel and help her out. They may not like us very much or even want our help, just a nuisance to the end, but regardless, Miyako can't clear the spillway on her own. So with a shovel in hand and in the pouring rain, we give her an extra set of hands. Because who else if not us? Meanwhile, Kaya, a friendly new face and head of safety in the General Student Council, might as well be the police commissioner, has given Kana, a police officer, an interesting order. Despite her saying she's going to help us out with SRT, she tells Kana to clear out the homeless population in the park. But they've tried that before, and it took Sensei's help to break up the protest. Clearing them out is a whole nother issue. No worries though. There just so happens to be a massive mega corporation that can solve any issue if you're willing to pay up. Kaiser Corp sure has been a lot more active recently since the last time we saw them trying to take over Abydos. They've brought up all the weapons and they've bought up all the weapons and supplies in the area, and now the local police force are armed with Kaiser branded firearms and equipment. But the rabbits are able to stay in their park for now. But Kaya, along with Kaiser Corp, seem to be making plans. Oh well, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Never mind the fact that the police are being turned into a paramilitary group. Beatrice tried to summon an ancient eldritch god. Nameless priest technology keeps showing up, and Rio's schizobabblings about defending Kivodos from a great catastrophe start making more and more ominous sense. Seiya is getting very ominous visions about a grown woman shooting an iPad. Well, Gematria is doing, something. Oh, whatever. I'm sure everything will be okay. Wait. What? Wait, why is the sky turning red? Fuck! I got coffee everywhere.